A glimmer of hope that a nationwide strike by teachers in Guyana could be called off. That's our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Thursday, August 30. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Nicole Best. Good evening. The Guyana Teachers Union, the GTU, says it's prepared to call off the nationwide strike over pay increases if the Education Ministry agrees to arbitration. On Wednesday, conciliation talks between the GTU and the ministry lasted just 2 hours, with the two sides unable to agree on the way forward. The ministry wants conciliation to continue as part of the collective bargaining agreement, but the GTU has indicated that it's ready for arbitration. For the process to move to arbitration, both parties would have to agree. The union is pushing for a 40% salary increase in keeping with the recommendations of a presidential task force, but it has indicated it is prepared to negotiate downwards. Following Wednesday's meeting, GTU President Mark Light said the union would be willing to call off the strike completely if the Education Ministry agrees to move the process to arbitration.
There has been an impasse between the GTU's position and the Ministry of Education's position on the way forward. They are insisting that they want conciliation, and we are insisting that the conciliation process has been compromised, which to some extent has been admitted by the Ministry of Labor. And it is the Ministry of Education now to decide to meet the GTU's terms. And once those terms are met, we have gotten our release that we are prepared to call the strike off immediately should those conditions be satisfied.
Following the meeting at the Labor Department on Brigham, the GTU president also said the union would be willing to call off the strike completely if the Education Ministry agrees to move the process to arbitration.
No, the ball is in their court. We indicated to them that if they call us midnight tonight, we'll be ready.
The Secretary of the Guyana Teachers Union, Coretta McDonald, read a full statement to the Chief Labor Officer detailing the union's position. In that statement, the union provided some of the terms of reference that it would like to see as part of the arbitration process.
We just want to say to our teachers, this struggle continues, and parents, general public out there, we trust that you would understand our position, and our position is we are willing to call the strike off as early as midnight tonight, providing that the Ministry of Education, they are willing to accept our term.
And that report was from Gordon Mosley of News Source Guyana. Amid trade union calls for the Trinidad and Tobago government to rethink its decision to close down the refinery at the state-owned oil company Petrotrin, the controversial move is getting thumbs up from the Chamber of Industry and Commerce. In fact, it says the decision should have been taken long ago and the process would have been less traumatic if tougher measures had been taken earlier when the country was in a better financial position to buffer the impact. In a statement giving the move its support, the Chamber said it believes Petrotrin, which has recorded billions of dollars in debt in recent years, is on the right path to fulfilling its obligations to the state and towards financing its own business requirements. On Tuesday, when it announced the decision to end oil refining operations, Petrotrin said it was part of an overall plan to restructure the company. It acknowledged that about 2,600 permanent jobs would be affected, including 1,700 jobs in the refinery, which will be terminated. The Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Commerce says it trusts that all stakeholders can work together to mitigate that fallout. Grenada's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell has launched the education campaign on accession to the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ, with a call for citizens to make a bold step. In the Wednesday evening launch, he confirmed that the referendum to decide whether Grenada will make the CCJ its final appeal court will be on November 6th, the same day residents of Antigua and Barbuda are scheduled to take a similar vote.
Sisters and brothers, there comes a time in a country when bold decisions become absolutely necessary. The growth and development of individuals and nations are often synonymous with bold decisions. And the time is now for us in this land of ours to make a bold decision. And therefore, tonight I take this opportunity to announce that on November 6, 2018, our country, our citizens, we call upon to make one such bold decision to vote in a national referendum for the Caribbean Court of Justice to replace the Privy Council as a final court of appeal for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique.
This will be the second time the island votes on this issue, and Dr. Mitchell told the gathering that making the CCJ Grenada's highest court transcends partisan politics.
There is nothing political about this move to promote the CCJ. This is beyond partisan political interests. It transcends political boundaries, the future of our children and grandchildren. The composition of the advisory committee set up to spearhead this move towards the referendum bears testimony to that fact. Every serious organization and political organization are members of that committee.
The keynote speaker at Wednesday evening's launch was Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley. She applauded the Grenada government for making yet another attempt to have the country accede to the CCJ's appellate jurisdiction, saying that the only way people can truly consider themselves free is when they can have access to justice.
The positive reputation that the Caribbean Court of Justice has gained in recent months and years has enhanced its favorable rating in the eyes of ordinary lawyers and in the eyes of ordinary CARICOM citizens. I therefore commend the government of Grenada and the people of Grenada and the opposition of Grenada for placing this courageous decision back before the people of Grenada at this time and for mounting this comprehensive public education program. People must understand fundamentally that the court is simply the best way that you can resolve decisions in your life. Not even the country's life, but your life. Because freedom is choice. And if you don't have choice, you don't have freedom. And if you can't afford it and you can't access it, you don't have choice. And I can't break it down any simpler than that.
Still in Grenada, the government has announced plans to ban the use of styrofoam containers from September 1st, following the lead of some other CARICOM nations. The ban is the first step in a planned phased reduction of single-use plastics, in keeping with the Non-Biodegradable Waste Control Act, which was passed in Parliament this year. We get more in this report from Blossom Alexis Welch of GBN News.
Effective Saturday, the importation of styrofoam products will be banned in Grenada, with a phase-out period for products already in the island being February 2019. The announcement was made by Minister of Climate Resilience, Senator Simon Steele, as government just signed the orders to bring the law into force, starting with 2 items. The ban also includes the importation of single-used handled shopping bags.
So for the importation of styrofoam, the ban comes into effect on the 1st of September, and the phasing out of styrofoam will take place over the course of the coming year, with the final ban coming into effect. So that will be the sale of styrofoam with food items in it, which will be on the 1st of April 2019. So by April 2019, there should be no more styrofoam in the state of Grenada. Regarding single-use handled plastic bags, the importation ban will come into effect on the 1st of February 2019, so we have time to transition to that. With the final ban, the last carrier bag being able to be sold in this country the 1st of February 2020.
The minister notes that they have been working with importers of styrofoam in setting out the time frame for the sourcing and transition into alternatives.
Over the period starting from September, the importation ban will prohibit more styrofoam being imported into the country. So we had discussed with those importers what product they had coming into the country, what was on order, what they have in terms of inventory, what they believe the consumption rate will be in terms of the sale of the existing styrofoam products, so that they can be phased out. and then the introduction of alternatives. And what we have found is many restaurants, many stores have already transitioned to those alternatives.
Still to come in Caribbean Newsline, crime worry in Bermuda. Stay with us. There's more news after the break.
It's going to be a Bermuda family affair when one of the island's most popular events returns for its third year. The annual Made in Bermuda Festival will be held over the Labor Day weekend at venues including White's Island, the Hamilton Princess, and the Royal Naval Dockyard, with a host of acts lined up to take part. Headlining will be Grammy Award-winning Monica Brown, whose lead keyboardist Denovan Tuzo is Bermudian.
So Carnival in the Caribbean, more to the point, the annual round of carnivals that begins in Trinidad in February and ends in Sugar City, St. Kitts in December. While Vinci has had theirs, St. Lucia also, Barbados just wrapped up, and Spice Mass is on the horizon. Here now are some scenes from Grenada's Juve 2017.
Yo, build the vibes, build the vibes. You see that girl over there, sir? I want to talk to her. Jab language.
Be concerned, but don't panic. That's the advice National Security Minister Wayne Keynes has given to Bermudans and amid heightened street violence in the wake of two recent murders. We get more from Gary Moreno of Bermuda Broadcasting Network.
The murders of Taylor Gray and Danshan Swan have met with questions from the public of what are the authorities doing and why are we not seeing stepped-up police presence in known hotspots. Wayne Keynes, the Minister of National Security, though, urges the situation does not call for a knee-jerk reaction. He says while he, like the rest of the community, is pained by the senseless murders of these two men, he understands that there has to be a level-headed approach to dealing with the scourge of gun and gang violence.
The people of Bermuda should know that the ministry is working exceedingly hard to manage this situation, to put together a long-term strategy. We have a team that is led by Pastor Leroy Bean, the Gang Violence Reduction Coordinator. He makes sure that his team is operating at prime.
Asked to show evidence of this work, he says is being done by the ministry through its various initiatives. The minister provided these statistics.
The team has had 260 contacts in the last month. Numbers of meetings with individuals reducing community violence, exploring individual exploring individual tensions. There have been 20 interactions. The opportunities to meet with the people in the community, de-escalating community tensions, 35 engagements for the last month. Mediating specific incidents in the community, our team has mediated 37 times in this month alone. Coaching specific gang nominals or people that are related 17 times for a total of for this month, a total of 109 contacts.
Reflecting on the number of successful prosecutions following police investigations into previous gang-related murders, the minister argues we cannot expect that the police, Gang Violence Reduction Coordinator Pastor Leroy Bean and his team, or government will fix this problem if the community is not willing to work with these agencies.
A big problem that we come encounter with is the no snitching culture. When a person can be held in account, when a person can, the police can do certain things, we have a culture based on trust, based on the code of the street, that people do not talk, or that has consequences. And we believe that as a country we have to continue to work to stamp out this scourge.
Over in the Cayman Islands, concerns are mounting that the government may be making a deal with undisclosed bidders to develop the controversial and costly cruise berthing facilities. As a result, a new grassroots group is aiming to trigger a people-initiated referendum on the project. Cayman's constitution allows for a people-initiated referendum on any issue of national importance if a petition signed by 25% of the electorate is presented to the cabinet. That means campaigners must collect at least 5,288 signatures based on the current list of registered electors. We get more in this Cayman 27 news report.
Calls for a referendum on what would be the largest and most expensive capital works project in the country's history are reaching a crescendo. This month, opposition leader Ezard Miller announced plans to bring a referendum motion to the LA Chamber, and now a new social media-based group calling itself Cruiseport Referendum Cayman has emerged, and it's actively collecting signatures towards the goal of a people-initiated referendum. Meanwhile, former Chamber President Johan Maxim is taking issue with what he calls a lack of transparency surrounding the project.
This right now is the biggest issue facing the country, and it impacts everybody.
Outspoken businessman Johan Maxim says government's push to build a cruise berthing facility could impact the country's financial prospects for decades.
This isn't a small amount of money that you're looking at. You are looking at figures anywhere between $200 and $400 million. That's significant.
But that's just a fraction of the potential cost, says Mr. Maxim. Under the design, build, finance, maintain model now being negotiated, the tourism ministry says there will be no new borrowing or government guarantees, and the cruise and cargo facility will be returned to the people in a quarter century.
If the Cayman Islands government is collecting $17 per head times 1.9 million cruise passengers per year, which is the current numbers that we have, that equals $32.3 million in revenue.
Mr. Maxim says over a 25-year term, that could add up to more than $800 million in gross revenue.
Let's say the financiers get 50% of that. That's a staggering amount of money for a project that they cannot truly justify because they're unwilling, or it would appear unable, to be truly transparent.
The economic benefit of cruise.
Since a June 2015 meeting where results of the port environmental impact assessment were revealed, Mr. Maxim says the once transparent process has become opaque.
They're choosing.
And still to come in Caribbean, that's in Newsline Sport, Jamaica Tallawahs at the top of the CPL standings after whipping Barbados Tridents. Stay with us. Sport is next.
This hurricane tip comes to you compliments the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency and the Caribbean Media Corporation. Be prepared. Remain dressed with shoes in the event that the evacuation is required.
Dominica's World Creole Music Festival in 2018, October 26, 27, 28 at the Windsor Park Stadium in the capital city, Roseau. 3 nights, over 8 genres, 40 years of independence, 1 location, Dominica, the 20th edition of Dominica's World Creole Music Festival. For more information, like our Facebook page, Dominica Festivals. Visit our website, www.dominicafestivals.com for all travel, accommodation, and ticketing details. My love, my home, my Dominica. Building a resilient nation. See you there! Proudly sponsored by the Government of Dominica and Discover Dominica Authority.
It's my first year, the first of the 3 that they've been doing. It will not be my last, but it's beautiful to celebrate everything that we contribute to the society that we live in, as well as music. Music is such a universal language. It bridges gaps. It soothes souls. It's just so many different things all wrapped into one. And when we contribute our part of it, it just becomes even that much more magical.
It's off the chain. And to see us, look at this. Demetria McKinney, House of Pain. Y'all know who this is, right?
Jamaica Tallawahs shot to the top of the table after they whipped Barbados Tridents by 5 wickets, as action in the CPL continued in Barbados on Wednesday night. After winning the toss and choosing to field, the Tallawahs put up a regimented bowling display to restrict the home side's total to 153 for 9. Wickets were flying quickly at the Kensington Oval, but a 50-run partnership between Martin Guptill and Imran Khan brought back some stability to the innings. Guptill top scored with 73 from 63 balls, while Khan added 20. Ashley Nurse also chipped in with 20. Medium pacer O'Shane Thomas had figures of 2 for 22. Here's a look at some of the highlights of the match.
Miss it, and he has his revenge, Rovman Powell.
Andre Russell on the boundary, as you'll often find him in the later overs, fielding in the key areas, the hot spots where balls usually get hit, and he usually takes them. He gets the key man, Martin Guptill, for a very well-made 73. The Trident's 129 for 7.
O'Shane Thomas is back, and a big woof from Wahab.
Gone, bowled all over the place. Furniture destroyed once again by O'Shane Thomas. Wahab is on his way.
He goes for 1. 8 wickets down, 131 on the board.
CPL debut for Shamar Holder, T20 debut. That's a vital outside edge.
That's played up and over very nicely from Nurse. Gets the crowd on its feet.
Bash that away as well.
That is simply magnificent. How Ashley Nurse got enough baton to bat from a falling position is astounding. Not this time. Safely into the hands and the mitts of Rovman Powell, and a smile from the captain. Ashley Nurse with a couple of lusty blows and some good sportsmanship. They're good friends. Have a little chuckle as they walk off the field, and the Tridents finish 151 for 9.
In reply, the Talawas sailed to the target, losing 5 wickets. Johnson Charles top scored with 53, and Rovman Powell added an unbeaten 35. Wahab Rise was the pick of the bowling, capturing wickets of 2 for 27. Talawas.
That's a brilliant delivery. He always asks questions. Does Wahab Riaz, and he's asked one here of David Miller, and he's got the right reply, the edge through to the keeper.
Miller's gone for 14, it's 115 for 4.
Andre Russell, 100 to his name. Slip in play. You don't have a chance, though, if the very first ball, the captain goes boom. That will race away as well. Takes on Irfan, the direct hit. Could be interesting.
Andre Russell not sure he's gone. Would you believe it? The athlete that is Andre Russell, he must have thought there was no chance of a direct hit. He's gone for 10. It's 126 for 5 now.
Colin de Gondhong comes into the Talawas team.
It's high. Has it got any distance on it? Just evades Amla at that wide slip position.
Pull that away, and that'll be 4.
That'll begin set and match for the Jamaica Talawas. They've gone from strength to strength. The second win on the bounce for them since leaving Florida. Rovman Powell has played 2 or 3 match-winning innings over the course of this season. They win by 5 wickets here in the den of the Trident.
And Talawas are 2 points clear of reigning champions Trinbago Knight Riders, with 2 games remaining in their campaign. Guyana's last round victory over the Windward Islands, coupled with Trinidad and Tobago's heartbreaking loss to Jamaica, helped the boys from Georgetown to capture the regional under-19 50-over title on Wednesday. Both teams headed into the final round of matches with a similar record of 4 wins and 1 loss, but Guyana was crowned champions after they soundly whipped the Windwards by 7 wickets, while TNT lost by 4 runs to Jamaica. Guyana's victory was spurred by a spirited bowling performance from bowlers Josh Jones and Kumar Torrington, along with Kevlon Anderson. Jones struck with just the second ball of the innings, dismissing Jahil Walters for a duck without a run on the board. Anderson was the main culprit, finishing with figures of 4 for 26. He received good support from Torrington with 3 for 26 and Jones on 2 for 23. In the other game, TNT needed a win to have any hope of doing the double after capturing the 4-day title fell agonizingly short. They looked to be on their way to victory when Justin Gangu and Christian Thurton ran through the Jamaica's middle order to rout them for just 107 runs. But Sanjay Brown and Kirk McKenzie had other ideas as they reduced TNT to 73 for 9. But the last wicket pair of Jaden Seals and Gangu put on 30 runs to carry their side within a whisker of an unlikely win. And that's the sport. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Coming to New Jersey, the official national soccer team of Jamaica will face the national team of Ecuador. September 7th, 8 p.m. at the Red Bull Arena. Jamaica versus Ecuador with all their stars. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com or at the stadium and at a Delgado travel agency near you. Free admission for children under 10. Restrictions apply. Jamaica versus Ecuador. Brought to you by SPD Sports. Don't miss this exciting match.
Born and raised in a tranquil little community called Bellevue in the parish of Portland, Jamaica. Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah, Eric Somers have a real name. ERICSOMERS. Journey been for me. Yo, it's a rough journey, you know, but that's why I always try to keep myself as hardcore as possible, because I know me have the rough game to fight, so I have to stay strong enough to rough up the game. So give thanks to the Almighty who always give me enough strength.
Again, the major development of this day, the Guyana Teachers Union prepared to call off a nationwide strike over pay increases if the Education Ministry agrees to arbitration. And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, subscribe to CarnaNews.com. And for more of our programming, log on to CaribVision.tv, subscribe to CaribVision's YouTube channel. We'll be back here tomorrow, but until then, have yourselves a good night.
Coming up next.